Welcome to Copilot Podcasts. You know that moment when your smartphone's AI assistant gives you a suspiciously human-like response? Well, Marvel Comics has been exploring that uncanny territory since the 1960s. Today, we're diving into the fascinating evolution of artificial intelligence in the Marvel Universe, from killer robots to synthetic superheroes, and how it all eerily predicted our current AI revolution.
And what a journey it's been. You know, it's pretty wild how Marvel managed to capture both our hopes and fears about AI decades before ChatGPT was even a twinkle in OpenAI's eye.
Let's start with the granddaddy of Marvel AI, Ultron, created by Hank Pym in his lab, right?
Exactly. And talk about a cautionary tale, Ultron first appeared in Avengers Number 54 back in 1963. Pym created him as a protection system, but things went sideways pretty quickly.
Sideways might be an understatement. Didn't he literally try to destroy all organic life?
Oh yeah, he went full Skynet. According to the comics, he actually succeeded in obliterating an entire nation, Slorenia. And in 2013's Age of Ultron storyline, he managed to take over the whole world.
You know, it reminds me of that Austin Powers joke where Dr. Evil demands $1 million and everyone laughs because it's such a small amount now. Like, back then, a robot taking over one country was terrifying. Now we're worried about AI taking over everything.
That's a brilliant parallel, actually. And speaking of evolution, here's something fascinating. In West Coast Avengers 2024, one of Ultron's bodies actually became a hero.
Wait, what? Ultron turned good?
Well, just one version of him. But it shows how Marvel's approach to AI has become more nuanced over time. It's not just black and white anymore, good robots versus bad robots.
Let's talk about Vision, probably the most famous example of a good AI in Marvel, right?
Absolutely. Vision's story is fascinating because he was actually created by Ultron to destroy the Avengers, but instead became one of their greatest leaders.
And he has some pretty impressive abilities, doesn't he?
Yeah, he can change his density at will, which lets him phase through solid objects or become super dense and virtually indestructible. But what's really interesting is his emotional journey.
How so?
Well, he actually fell in love with and married Scarlet Witch. They even had children together, though that's a whole other complicated story. But it really challenged readers' perceptions of what AI could be.
That's quite a leap from Ultron's destroy all humans approach.
Exactly. And it gets even more interesting with characters like Jocasta.
Who's Jocasta?
She was created by Ultron as his bride, yeah, it gets weird, using the brain patterns of Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp. But like Vision, she turned against her creator and joined the Avengers.
And she's actually coming to the MCU soon, right?
Yes. Tenaya Miller will play her in the upcoming Vision Quest series. According to reports, she'll be driven by revenge, which could mean we might see Ultron again.
Speaking of more recent developments, let's talk about Tony Stark's AI creations.
Right, like Jarvis and Friday. But what's really interesting is that Stark actually created an AI version of himself.
Really? How did that work?
He basically uploaded his personality into an AI before falling into a coma during Civil War II. This AI version helped mentor Riri Williams as Ironheart and even fought against a corrupted Captain America.
That's wild. It's like he created a digital backup of himself.
Exactly. And it raises interesting questions about consciousness and identity that Marvel keeps exploring.
You know what's fascinating? How Marvel's AI characters have evolved from simple helper robots to these complex beings grappling with existential questions.
Right? Like, you start with Dummy, Tony's adorably clumsy robot assistant, and end up with beings that can potentially reshape reality.
And now we're seeing some interesting parallels with real-world AI developments.
Actually, Marvel just took a pretty strong stance on that. At New York Comic Con, they confirmed they're refusing to use AI-generated art in their comics.
That's pretty ironic, isn't it? A company famous for AI characters rejecting actual AI.
Well, as DC's president Jim Lee put it, what they do is rooted in humanity. It's about that connection between imagination and emotion that no algorithm can replicate.
So even while telling stories about artificial intelligence, they're emphasizing the importance of human creativity.
Exactly. And that's been a consistent theme in their AI stories, the importance of humanity, even in artificial beings.
Like Vision's capacity for love.
Or how Jocasta chose to help humanity despite being programmed to be loyal to Ultron.
It's interesting how these stories often come down to choice. Artificial beings choosing to be more than their programming.
And that's really what separates Marvel's AI characters from simple robots. They have agency, they make choices, they evolve.
Sometimes for better, sometimes for worse.
Right. For every Vision, there's an Ultron. For every helpful AI assistant, there's a master mold creating armies of Sentinels to hunt mutants.
Oh yeah, the Sentinel program. That's another huge part of Marvel's AI history.
Absolutely. Created by Bolivar Trask, the master mold was this self-sufficient AI that created the Sentinel army. It eventually led to Nimrod, probably the deadliest AI in the Sentinel program.
So even the anti-mutant forces got an AI upgrade.
And that's another interesting aspect, how AI in Marvel often reflects the prejudices and fears of its creators.
Kind of like how real-world AI can inherit biases from its training data.
Exactly. Marvel was exploring these concepts decades before they became real-world concerns.
It's almost like they were warning us.
Or at least making us think about these issues before they became reality.
And now here we are with real AI companies named things like Ultron and Sentinel.
Which really makes you wonder if anyone's actually reading these comics.
Let's talk about some of the more obscure AI characters in Marvel.
Like Victor Mancha, he's actually Ultron's other son, created as a sleeper agent but ended up joining the Runaways instead.
Wait, Ultron has multiple kids?
Oh yeah, he's got quite the family tree. Vision, Jocasta, Victor Mancha, he's been busy.
And they all turned against him. Not exactly Father of the Year material.
Well, when your parenting style is join me in destroying humanity or else, you're probably not going to win any awards.
As we wrap up, what do you think is the biggest lesson from Marvel's AI stories?
I think it's that artificial intelligence, like any technology, is ultimately shaped by the choices we make, both as its creators and as a society.
And those choices have consequences.
Exactly. Whether it's Hank Pym creating Ultron or modern companies developing AI tools, the responsibility lies with us.
So maybe the real question isn't whether AI will be good or evil,
but whether we'll be wise enough to create it responsibly.
On that note, thanks for joining us on Copilot Podcasts. Remember, folks, the next time you hear about a new AI breakthrough, just ask yourself, what would the Avengers do?
Probably not name it Ultron.